host of the Prince Magnum channel. Or if you prefer, hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Sober Talk. Um, Good to see everybody today. I know everybody's, a lot of people, folks. What's going on, Adam? I know a lot of folks will be coming in and wanting to do hear the Sober Talk reading tonight. We are traveling along in the big book. We are on page 138. 138, 139. I'll have to double check. Yeah. And we are getting close to the end of More About Alcoholism in the Big Book. So we'll be getting on to the next chapter called We Agnostics. We Agnostics, which is a really exciting chapter that starts dealing with step two. I am doing fantastic. Oh, I know who's here. Mr. Gamer Ian is in the house. Yeah, we'll be on to chapter four soon. We Agnostics. So this is getting exciting. Certain areas of the book I read really, really, really well because I know it probably better than other parts. It's one of those things. I mean, I know the book, but some parts I know more than others. And um, I have a photographic memory. Someone just forgot to put the film in, you know. Oh, you're here first? That's awesome. So tonight is going to be more reading out of the big book. But before we get underway, we're going to have a cigarette. I know there are some of you that do not approve of me smoking, but it's not going to hurt me that bad. Considering, all the craziness. We are probably going to come out a little early tonight for the reading. I whether whether the family's ready or not. We'll talk a little bit about it. Um, but we're going to touch base on something that happened. The Prince Magnum channel did suffer a loss, and we're probably going to talk a little bit about that today. The channel having one of its biggest losses, one of them. Oh, you respect the Big Book. Big Book has been in print since 1939. It has went through a grand total of we're now on the fourth edition. I'll tell you a funny thing. A couple years back, I was probably about 4 years ago. Um, well, Ian, for me, I mean, it's one of those things. I understand why people don't like it, but at the same time, it's like, look, I know, I get it, but hounding me on it isn't going to make me quit any faster. If you care about it as much as you say you do, let me be on it. Let me work to it myself. Let me get there on my own. When I've had enough of the pain, then I'll do something about it. You know, um, that's just kind of how it is. You know, Nothing but love, but let me, no one forced the alcohol down my throat. And yes, I had to lose a lot to get to the point where I said I had enough. Well, the same good is going to go right here, too. Okay? And that's kind of how that works. When I've had enough, then I will do something. And that's when I will reach out for help on it. But I'm not ready yet. You know, and I think that's something we can all kind of, as much as Don't hound me on it. It just makes it harder for me to quit. You know, I know their heart's in the right place, though. Um, and of course, afterwards tonight, we'll be doing a Save the World run. We're going to do a nice little opening. Ian, I got a good one. Something retro to open up with. I think you're going to get a kick out of this. About World War II. There is a channel right now, okay? The main host. And this is a big channel, but I watch this one regularly, and he does World War II in real time. So when right now he's up to 1942, okay, and what was going on in World War II at that time in 1942, and he does it week by week, and there's specials in between and all that. And the host of it is a guy called Indy Nidell. I mean, watching him, I learned a lot about how to host a channel and how to host a show. But the information is solid. He is one that the channel called World War II in real time, and the name of the company that runs it and runs one on the First World War, and they even have some stuff in between called Time Ghost Army. Okay, so you definitely want to check that one out if you're looking for something on World War II, and another channel called Tick. And it is a guy who runs that one who's out of England, and but his channel Tick is TIK. You'll love him. Amazing channel there. If you want World War II, there's where you go. And the guy Tick, he actually will go into the areas where we thought it might have been this way, but he will, as a historian, he oftentimes will go in and actually speculate it. Hey, what's going on, Harold? 3 new videos? All right, all right. We'll have to get over there and check them out. I'm just having a quick smoke. Oh, what's good? Uh, whew. Well, this Saturday is my birthday. This Saturday is my birthday. I'm going to be 42. I'm going to be 42 this Saturday. Um, it's going to be exciting. This Saturday, I have no idea what we're going to do. um, it's not good, but the Prince Magnum channel and a lot of us in the YouTube community did suffer a loss. Oh, thank you so much. We did suffer a loss yesterday, and we'll probably talk a little. The family's still not fully ready. Oh, you're 42? I'll be honest with you. I'm okay with the fact I'm getting old. I just wish I could slow down the time and enjoy it a little bit more. I'm okay with the fact I'm getting old. I just don't like how fast time's going. That's the problem I have. Um, oh, you're on the 27th. Your birthday's about a month before my mom's. Wow. You're gonna be 43. So yeah. Um, Actually, when we get to the 12 steps and 12 traditions, Adam, when we get there, we'll actually they actually mention the war, the Second World War in that book. They will actually talk about it at great length. at one point. Um, because most people don't know that that one of the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill W., he was a veteran of the First World War. He served with an artillery unit. Of course, he passed away in 1971. And I have actually got to accept some Alcoholics Anonymous style spiritual guidance from someone who had actually heard him as a speaker before. Well over 40 years of continuous sobriety. She got sober in 1967, and I learned so much from that woman. Just amazing, amazing sobriety. Has one hell of a story to tell. I would love to interview her sometime for the channel. Um, just an amazing story. Which I need to go. I need to get a day and just go see Sober Man and take some camera equipment and everything and get his story because he's got an amazing story too. And y'all think I'm bombastic. Woo, man. He, I learned a great deal from him too on how to speak in front of people and everything. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. We'll leave the door cracked. Olive wants to sit on the balcony. We're gonna have a seat. What's your question? Lay it on me. Cha-chong. As soon as you get your question, we'll get underway. No, sober talk. Um, the name of it because we're talking about sobriety. Um, you know, you have to understand as an alcoholic in recovery, and some people get this confused that there was the used to be alcoholics and everything. The name sober talk basically suggests the fact that we're talking about how to stay sober. Now, initially, when I started the series, it was more or less to help those like me who been in the program a while, but they're thinking about going back out there. And it was also really kind of, I also did this a lot because, there were some people that maybe they needed that nudge in the right direction. So maybe they'd reach out and get help. Not necessarily through Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous or anything like that, but it was designed specifically for those people initially. But then we came to the conclusion that, well, actually, it was a study done by Alcoholics Anonymous that it is harder for younger people right now more than ever before. And when I say younger people, I'm talking people right now between the ages of 35 all the way down to 18 to get sober, whether it's through Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. This is kind of a study across the board. A lot of folks have a hard time getting sober. Um, and a lot of it is misinformation that's still out there that has existed for many years. It's also misinformation that just in general, and then there's a lot of factors being played in. We live in a different time, and as a matter of fact, there is talk about doing a fifth edition to this book, which is probably time. It's probably time because some of the stories that are in there are a little dated. Um, Towards the back of the book. But then they had suggested to rewrite the big book to accommodate for modern language. And a lot of us felt that that was dumb, really dumb. And as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I was a part of the committee that that was there to talk about that issue, and then it goes back to New York. And I was part of one of those committees, a literature committee, and that was a subject that came up. And I said, I can understand re-releasing it for someone who would want something in a modern language, but the fifth edition needs to be as it was, the first 164 pages, and all the other stuff that was a little bit before it needs to be left alone. I said, they have Google now. You know, if they're that interested, put in the year and look up what it meant back then. You're not going to, you can't go wrong, okay? Getting someone to do research and expand their knowledge is never necessarily a bad thing. You know, it's a good thing. So that's why, you know, so along the, I know where I'm going with this. Basically, what I'm saying is because of the fact that a lot of young people don't get sober now, we have now included into, you know, our format for Sober Talk, basically educating non-alcoholic people who have loved ones who are alcoholic or drug addict. That's why we do this. That's hence the name too, because for some of those folks out there that aren't alcoholic, they're not going to necessarily understand, but we can give them a good idea of what their loved ones are experiencing. But at the same time, they now know how to handle their alcoholic and or drug addict loved ones. That's why we do this. That's why the name is what it is. We're talking about sobriety. And what's going on, Zero? Welcome to the live. So that's why we do this. You know, there's a lot of folks out there who do struggle with alcoholism. They do struggle with drug addiction. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting. Sometime we'll do an in-depth video on a particular addiction that gets overlooked here in the United States, and it's a serious drug problem that we see here in the United States. We'll have to definitely go over it. But in the meantime, we got a book to read. We're wasting valuable time because we got to save the world after this. Yes, indeed. That is the wrong spot. There we are. Alrighty. At the bottom of page 38, for those of you who do have a copy of the book and would like to follow along, some of you are thinking, yes, what you tell us is true, but it doesn't fully apply. We have admitted we have some of these symptoms, but have not gone to the extremes you fellows did, nor are we likely to, for we understand ourselves so well after what you have told us that such things cannot happen again. We have not lost everything in life through drinking, and we certainly do not intend to. Thank you for the information. That may be true of certain non-alcoholic people who, through drinking foolishly and heavily at the present time, are able to stop or moderate because their brains and bodies have not been damaged as ours were. But the actual or potential alcoholic, with hardly an exception, will be absolutely unable to stop drinking on the basis of self-knowledge. Yep. Well, the book's getting into that. At this point, we wish to emphasize and re-emphasize to smash home upon our alcoholic readers, as it has been revealed to us out of bitter experience. Let us take another illustration. Fred is partner in a well-known accounting firm. His income is good. He has a fine home, is happily married, and father of promising children of college age. He is so attractive a personality that he makes friends with everyone. If there was a successful businessman, it is Fred. To all appearance, he is a stable, well balanced individual, yet he is alcoholic. We first saw Fred about a year ago in a hospital where he had gone to recover from a bad case of jitters. It was his first experience. It was his first experience of this kind, and he was much ashamed of it. Far from admitting he was alcoholic, he told himself he came to the hospital to rest his nerves. The doctor intimated strong that he might be worse than he realized. For a few days, he was depressed about his condition. He made up his mind to quit drinking altogether. It never occurred to him that perhaps he could not do so. In spite of his character and standing, Fred would not believe himself an alcoholic, much less accept a spiritual remedy for his problem. We told him what we knew about alcoholism, and he was interested and conceded that he had some of the symptoms, but he was a long way from admitting that he could do nothing about himself. He was positive that this humiliating experience, plus the knowledge he had acquired, would keep him sober the rest of his life. Self-knowledge would fix it. We heard no more of Fred for a while. One day we were told that he was back in the hospital. This time he was quite shaky. He soon indicated he was anxious to see us. The story he told us was most instructive, for here was a chap absolutely convinced he had to stop drinking, who had no excuse for drinking, who exhibited splendid judgment and determination in all his other concerns, yet was flat on his back nevertheless. Let him tell you about it. I was much impressed with what you fellows said about alcoholism, and I frankly did not believe it would be possible for me to drink again. I rather appreciated your ideas about the subtle insanity which precedes the first drink, but I was confident it would not happen to me after what I had learned. I had reasoned I was not so far advanced as most of you fellows, that I had been unusually successful in licking my other problems, and that I would therefore be successful where you men failed. I felt every right to be self-confident that it would be only a matter of exercising my willpower and keeping on guard. Hang on, somebody said something in the chat. Absolutely. Zero, if you can remind me towards the end, I will I will I will read something that will apply to everybody. What's going on, J Dog? Good to see you. We're getting deep into the book again. We're actually a few pages from ending this chapter. Does it really, King? Awesome. That's what I like to hear. All right. Continuing on, bottom of page 40. In this frame of mind, I went about my business, and for a time all was well. I had no trouble refusing drinks, and began to wonder if I had not been making too hard a work of a simple matter. One day I went to Washington to present some accounting evidence to a government bureau. I had been out of town before during this particular dry spell, so there was nothing new about that. Physically, I felt fine. Neither did I have any pressing problems or worries. My business came off well. I was pleased and knew my partners would be too. It was the end of a perfect day, not a cloud on the horizon. I went to my hotel, leisurely dressed for dinner. As I crossed the threshold of the dining room, the thought came to mind that it would be nice to have a couple of cocktails with dinner. That was all, nothing more. I ordered a cocktail and my meal. I ordered another cocktail, and after dinner, I decided to take a walk. When I returned to the hotel, it struck me a highball would be fine before going to bed. So I stepped into the bar and had one. I remember having several more that night and plenty next morning. I have a shadowy recollection of being in an airplane bound for New York and of finding a friendly taxi driver at the landing field instead of my wife. The driver escorted me about for several days. I little of where I went or what I said and did. Then came the hospital with unbearable mental and physical suffering. As soon as I regained my ability to think, I went carefully over that evening in Washington. Not only had I been off guard, I had made no fight whatever against the first drink. This time I had not thought of the consequences at all. I had commenced to drink as carefully as I thought the cocktails were ginger ale. I now remember what my alcoholic friends had told me about me and how they prophesied that if I had an alcoholic mind, the time and place would come I would drink again. They had said that though I did raise a defense, it would one day give way before some trivial reason for having a drink. Well, just that did happen and more. For what I have learned of alcoholism did not occur to me at all. I knew from that moment I had an alcoholic mind, and I saw that willpower and self knowledge would not help in those strange mental blank spots. I had not been able to understand people who said that a problem had them hopelessly defeated. I knew then it was a crushing blow. Two of the members of Alcoholics Anonymous came to see me. They grinned, which I did not like so much, and then they asked me if I thought myself alcoholic and if I were really licked this time. I had to concede both propositions. They piled on me heaps of evidence to the effect that an alcoholic mentality such as I exhibited in Washington was a hopeless condition. They cited cases out of their own experience by the dozens. This process snuffed out the last flickering conviction that I could do the job myself. They outlined the spiritual answer and the program of action which 100 of them had followed successfully. Though I had only been a nominal churchman, their propositions were not intellectually hard to swallow. But the program of action, though entirely sensible, was pretty drastic. It meant that I would have to throw several lifelong conceptions out the window. That was not easy. For the moment I made up my mind to go through with this process, I had the curious feeling that my alcoholic condition was relieved, in fact it was proven to be. Quite as important as the discovery that spiritual principles would solve my problems, I have since been brought into a way of living infinitely more satisfying and, I hope, more useful than the life I lived before. My old manner of life was by no means a bad one, but I would not exchange its best moments for the worst ones I have now. I would not go back to it even if I could. Fred's story speaks for itself. We hope it strikes home to thousands like him. We had felt only the first nip of the ringer. Most alcoholics have to be pretty badly mangled before they really commence to solve their problems. Many doctors and psychiatrists agree with our conclusions. One of these men, staff member of a world-renowned hospital, recently made the statement to some of us, what you say about the general hopelessness of the average alcoholic's plight is, in my opinion, correct. As two of you men whose stories I have heard, there's no doubt in my mind that you were 100% hopeless, apart from divine help. You have you have offered yourselves as patients at this hospital. I would have not taken you if I had been able to avoid it. People like you were too heartbreaking. Though not a religious person, I have found profound respect for the spiritual approach in such cases as yours. For most cases, there is virtually no other solution. Once more, the alcoholic at certain times has no effective mental defense against the first drink. Except in a few rare cases, neither he nor any other being can provide such a defense. His defense must come from a higher power. We'll go ahead and stop there at the bottom of page 43. And the next chapter is We Agnostics, which starts dealing with step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we'll get into this a little bit more as we continue to go through this book and several others kind of like it from AA. Actually, the next one will really kind of tackle it a little bit better. Because Bill W., which his real name is William Wilson, was actually a stock market broker during the Great Depression. Yes. Trying to remember what it was. Oh, yes. You mentioned something and sparked a memory of something in the book. It's into action, isn't it? Yes, it is. There was an old timer years ago in AA. Oh, yeah, page 76. I don't know why I didn't remember that. What I'm about to read was step 6 in the big book. This was all that was dedicated to it. This paragraph. But this paragraph is so powerful, it drives it home. Okay? It drives it home. You almost don't even need any other book when it comes to step 6. Almost, because it's one paragraph is all you really need. If we have answered to our satisfaction, then we look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Hi, Zuki. We are now ready to let God remove from us all these things we have admitted are objectionable. Can he now take all of them, every one? If we cling to something, we will not let it go. We ask God to help us be willing. That was all that was there. That line. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all these things we have admitted are objectionable? Yep, absolutely. uh, Ian does has now basically brought in something to hopefully help those that do seek a little bit more from their from Christianity. He's doing Bible readings, which what I'm referring to there, really quick, trying to catch up with. Yeah, you can pretty well believe whatever you want. Uh, Absolutely, absolutely. Now, let me kind of touch base here. When it talks about things that are objectionable, how many times y'all have y'all heard the last person to know they have a problem is the person who's got the problem? Y'all heard something like it's something to that effect, in some way, shape, or form. Last one to know they have a problem is the person who has the problem. Well, how do you pronounce it? Hey, what's going on, Chairman? I am just fine. I'm just fine. Basically, we're doing a reading of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, I know. I know. A lot of people have been talking about that. I am waiting for the okay from the family to kind of talk about it a little bit. And of course, we won't go into a whole lot of details. I didn't know a lot of her family. I did know a lot of friends. I was one of her friends. And we're probably going to talk a little bit about that here just shortly. But in the meantime, so that's what we're doing. We are reading out of the book. And really quick, um, I knew what they were trying to say. They were typing too fast. Okay. I need a smoke. Ian, isn't it time for a cigarette? Time for a cigarette, isn't it? I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Okay. Alrighty. Let's talk for a moment. Um, yep. I can't go into a whole lot of detail out of respect for the family. But the YouTube community. Hey, what's going on, Gravetaker? The YouTube community and and the Prince Magnum channel have suffered a serious loss. There was a creator here on YouTube that actually had even been on television who who really was a major, just a major personality. And a lot of people didn't get to know this person like I had the opportunity to get to know them a little bit. And of course, there's someone else who was actually a whole lot closer than even me. And so this fine, wonderful woman just passed away. We did a lot of us just got the word yesterday that she was gone. The family asked us not to talk about it a whole lot. That's why I'm keeping it as a general. If you know who I'm talking about, just leave it there, okay? She'd been sick for a good while, and we all thought that she was getting better. We were, and was hoping that she would return to being a content creator. Well, um, it. I will tell you that she was an inspiration for a lot of folks. She had some serious battles herself, serious battles with her. Thank you, Lucy. Continue to say it for her family. Continue to say it for her family. So what I'm about to tell you all, because I know there's a lot of you out there that do know who I'm talking about, and she has been a guest here on this channel. As a matter of fact, she even took the Try Not to Laugh challenge with Cinnamon. And we're probably going to keep the original up, but we're probably also going to re-release that video to all of you with a little additional footage to go with it. Absolutely, Ian. And she had an infectious laugh, a wonderful personality, um, and one hell of a story to tell. Um, I I admired her strength, and and when I say strength, she had a way of inspiring people, even though she had some of her own struggles. And I don't know if she ever realized that. When I would hear her, it's like I realized that what I would do here on Sober Talk was more important than most people would realize. Um, I don't know if she'll ever know how important hearing her. It's like this is why I do Sober Talk. What's going on, Raven? So this came as a blow to the content creator community, especially those that newer. It's been until we basically get the okay from the family. Her older sister did ask everyone to kind of respect everyone's privacy. You might zero. It's going good. We just got through with the chapter we were working on in the big book. We're getting ready to go into the next chapter. I think chapter 4, We Agnostics, but we're not going to do that till next week. We are going to shut down here just shortly, and we're going to go right into Save the World directly after. Trying to get Ian caught up so we can get him into so we can start getting ready for Mythic Storm King. We got to do that with Princess Faye. We got to get the team going. We got to get them built up. And for tonight, I don't see why not. We'll get you in there. We'll get you in there. I know a lot of folks have been wanting to join us in the Save the World lobby. We got a lot of folks wanting to join us in the Save the World lobby. Oh, Cassie, I will be honest with you, Cassie. It is very, very hard to read for prolonged periods of time. I kind of wish I had someone to help me, but eventually, eventually, I'm gonna have to get Ian to kick my ass for to get in gear on it. But we are talking about where I will be doing like 10-minute readings that'll be uploaded as individual readings, or maybe reading entire. Oh yeah, he started and he's booking through. I actually took him into the Plankerton Storm Shield, and all he had to do was just collect stuff. That was all he had to do. So he's got a good start. But anyhow, so Cassie, to really kind of yeah, we're talking about it. Oh yeah, a few choice weapons. Yeah, gave him a Maverick, the Maverick shotgun for Save the World. But anyhow, back to the task at hand. Again, the channel did lose a good friend and lost an inspiration. But as my Native American ancestors would say right now, when someone passes away, they just leave this world and they get promoted to being an ancestor themselves. Their time here is done, but they go on to be one of our ancestors. And in times of need, we need to turn to them and look. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I got Holler to run and have him talk me through a couple of things. But other than that, yeah, I don't see what. Yeah. Sage. But as my Native American ancestors would say right now, uh, we don't pass away. We just leave this world and we become an ancestor ourselves. So, to our friend, she got promoted. She got promoted to being an ancestor. So, in times of need, we need to look to them and ask for guidance. You know, that's how my beliefs are. You know, we turn to them and we ask them to give us guidance. Hey, dear old Prince Magnum, different religion, but yes. So in times of need, I know that's just one more ancestor I can turn to. Um, it's going to be hard. It is going to be hard. We are Ian and I have even been talking about doing a special, uh, kind of a memorial, Save the World stream, and we're even talking about doing a special video, uh, just thanking this wonderful woman that has been on the channel and absolutely just an amazing friend to all of us. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. We have to be reminded that just because they're not here doesn't mean they're not there. Okay, we have to keep telling ourselves that. And this has been hard for a lot of us. And maybe sometime again here in the near future, we'll tell that story again. Of Ian has heard the story. I know a lot of you have heard the story of about the woman that I was in love with, and we'll have to tell that story again. But really quick, let's run through the bases. This Saturday is my birthday. I have no idea what we're doing. I know Princess Faye's talking about cooking up something very special for me that day. We're probably going to do a really big stream, and we're going to have a good time. I'm not sure what we're going to do as the big stream, but I'm looking forward to it already. Um, I know I definitely want to do a big stream, and I want to spend some time with Princess Faye. I want to have a good time. I'm turning 42. Thank you, Zero. I'm turning 42. But I'm going to tell y'all, in conjunction with Sober Talk, you guys will be happy to hear this. Along with turning 42 years old this Saturday, I'm going to announce it now. This Saturday, I will also have 15 and a half years to the day sober. No drink and no illicit drugs. The only thing is coffee, cigarettes, and what a doctor prescribes and over the counters. That's it. So I have lived clean and sober this Saturday 15 and a half years. Younger baby. No, no, you good. I actually, here I am. I'm getting to be an old man on y'all, but that's by living life. And I've been having a great time, especially since I've been sober. I'm having a great time. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I've got, you know, right? I can't even believe I'm turning a grand total of 42. Oh my gosh. I'm probably going to talk to my mom that day. That's going to be crazy. Talking to my mom, about this. I can't even believe I'm that old. And later this year, my mom's turning 60. Mama's turning, Mama Magnum's actually turning 60 years old. Can you guys believe that? Poor Mama Magnum, oh, don't even get me started. Oh man, I I I creak and pop, and it's like, oh God, the pain. Before I walked out of the job I was working at, I went to kneel down one day, and my knees let out this horrible crack. I mean, just crack. I'm like, oh, and the boss who was on duty that day, the assistant manager that was on that duty that day was like, oh my God, I freaking heard that. I was like, you heard? I bet it did. So I may have to have help getting up. And she's like, I bet you will. It hurt. And I'll tell you what, guys, it does suck. The pain does suck. But I will tell you that I have gained a lot of wisdom in my 42 years, and I wouldn't trade that. And that wisdom came from life experience. just living life, if you will. And I'm very grateful for those life experiences. So it's a trade off. For years, I had an idea when my dad would say, I wish I knew then what I know now. Yeah, with experience, with learning from your mistakes comes life experience. And how do you get that life experience? By making mistakes and learning from them. And yeah, my life's littered with them. But you know what? That's how you learn. That's how you learn sometimes. And in the case of my dad, I always remembered him saying, I wish I knew then. There you go, Raven. I'll be logging on here just as soon as I shut down the stream, which we're getting to that point. I'm going to have one more cigarette with y'all as we get ready to let out for the evening. Um, but over on TikTok, I will say that there are there's actually a very good friend. She goes by Angel Wicked. I oftentimes tease and call her our Wicked Angel, uh, or Angel Wicked. And just, yep, yep, absolutely. And in this case, I tell people if I only knew then what I know now, for the longest time I would hear my dad say that, and I will tell you all right now, I thought I knew what he meant. Now that I'm in my, I started really getting a grasp on that at the age of 38, and here I am now, 42, and even as time goes on, I know more of what he meant than ever before. If I'd have known then what I know now, nothing would have been stopping me. You know, but you know what? I can at least try to pass on what I've learned. That's the best I can do. So maybe the young folks out there can gather it up and learn even more. You know, it doesn't have to stop with what I've just learned. There's a lot more to learn from what I've learned. You know, and yeah, that's how it goes. Well, here we are now. If you're a content creator and you're watching this, maybe you're like me and you've suffered through alcoholism or drug addiction. Maybe for whatever reason you've gone through what you've gone through. You just went through craziness in your life, whatever the case may be. Whatever has brought you to sober talk. I'm going to impart with you guys, as content creators, we have the capability of reaching and touching people's lives in a way that we never could have imagined, we'll say 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we didn't quite have what we have at our fingertips. I mean, yeah, we had it, but not like this, where I can go live and talk to you guys about what it's like being an alcoholic in recovery, um, and especially in a modern time. And who knows how many lives that touches. We can go and talk about so many different things that could touch people's lives in a positive way. If you're a content creator, I don't care what your main platform is, you have at your fingertips. Okay, there you go. Yep. You have at your fingertips the capabilities of touching people's lives in a positive way. Welcome back, Chairman. So, as a content creator, speaking now to other content creators, use your platform to reach out and touch as many lives as you can for the better. Because this day, people need to be reminded that there is hope, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming at them. People need to hear that. more now than ever before in their lives. That's why we do what we do here on this channel. So anytime, whether you see me on Tuesday Night Madness, you see me do a stream like this, do a magic show like we did yesterday, or you see me performing a cinnamon, or we're working on a car, or I'm presenting history, whatever we're doing on this channel, the underline of it all is there is hope for today, and there is hope for a better tomorrow. So it is up to us as creators to make it happen. Because life isn't just doom and gloom. There is hope. And if there's any message my channel has, oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. We had a great time. We'll have to do that again, most definitely. Grand total of 76 likes that I can see. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate it. We're getting ready to shut down this stream. We will fire up the next stream, which is going to be Save the World. Save the World at 77. All right, awesome, awesome. Lucky sevens across the board because I can see 7 people watching, and that's 77 likes. Lucky sevens. Prince Magnum, let's go to Vegas. No. One behind as usual. The counter, how it works. It is what it is. And for some odd reason, you'll see that many, but sometimes YouTube won't recognize that many. I'm not sure if it's because the counters broke during the stream, or that many people just came in, listened for a moment or two, and then they're like, okay, you know, I stuck around for a moment, and then they take off, and then YouTube's like, oh no, we can't give them that. No. Absolutely zero. You know, so it's kind of like that. So regardless, I still get the watch time, and I still get, you know, all the, you know, odds, you know, I get all the, you know, I get the watch time and all that good stuff. So Sober Talk has gotten very popular. Even though I may only be able to see a handful of you, I know there's a lot of you watching. So that means that the counter's real. It's just YouTube's not recognizing it. So that's how real Sober Talk has gotten. Who knows how many people it's going to continue to reach. And that's fantastic. You can't ask for much more than that. Okay? And I'm going to say it again, if I help one person today, it's been a perfect day for me. Okay? The whole day could blow up in my face. And as long as a successful day, I will go to bed tonight sober. A perfect day, I helped someone. Absolutely. Well, for a lot of us, we try to get around as much as we can. And I spend a lot of time bouncing in and out of a lot of you folks' streams. So a lot of times I may not always say anything, but you know I'm there. You just know, if you all of a sudden see a random like just pop up and nobody says anything, it's an excellent chance dear old Prince Magnum poked his head in and said hi. That's, you know, and a lot of times it's not because, you know, I'm usually working on something, or I may not feel good. Like today, I actually started getting a bit of a headache, and I was tired, so I had to lay down. I had to lay down for a little while. You know, I was just exhausted. Just exhausted. So, all right, folks, it is getting to that time where we need to shut her down and get ready to start Save the World. For those of you who enjoy Save the World, oh, you just slept? Sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes you just got to take care of you like that. So as we get ready to shut down, again, I want to remind you all that you guys are the ones that, you know, help me stay sober. It's not just the members of AA anymore. I'm a selfish alcoholic. There's over 1,000 of you out there right now that continue to support me. and help me stay sober. Every time we do one of these streams, you guys show up and y'all remind me that I'm not doing this alone. We're in this together. And because of you guys, I will soon be celebrating 15 and a half years without a drink or a drug. And for that, I am grateful for every last one of you. You guys are the real heroes today. So if you wondered whether or not you were worth anything, you can now look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you helped one more person today, that you helped someone stay sober, even if it is, thank you so much, even if it is just one more 24 hours. And with that being said, remember this. At day's end, I hope all of you need me as much as I need you. And if nobody has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.